This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Potsy and Tino on the Potsy and Tino Show.
So what happened there?
Oh, look at that. I don't even have to actually hit a button to make it sit there and put us on the thing. Tino.
It was weird. It's like at first it started doing the Cody Rhodes and it stopped, and then it had all our handles, and then it stopped, and then it went to the other one, and then it started all over. I'm like, what happened? Did you do that?
I'm still getting used to it. But want to go ahead and sit there and say this is the Potsy and Tino Show, brought to you by the Pots and Pans Network. Obviously, our theme song is brought to you by Adam's House Cats.
I was pointing you. I thought you were going to introduce us. I was trying to figure out which way to point.
Well, I'm going like this, and watch what happens when I do that now.
Jesus Christ. It's going to be the whole show. Hi, Michael
Do
Turner.
it. Just try it. Just try it.
It won't work for me. See?
No, like this.
Nothing.
Mine's awesome. I'm like. Anyways, our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called the Wrestling Songs, available on iTunes for 99 cents. But Tino, I wanted to know what you thought of our new graphic.
I like it. I thought it was cool. I like the live, and I like before. I don't know if they saw it says scheduled Potsy and Tino Show, kind of like getting ready to get started. So I wonder what they see before we get started. If nothing.
So I don't know what's going on there, but I have to like load it in so that I can actually like start playing with the logos and everything. So like the scheduled is me jumping into like StreamYard to be able to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I am pretty pleased with what I've come up with for us.
It's awesome. Yeah, you've done an awesome job. I like it.
Like
I like it a lot.
I took down the Potsy and Tino logo little thing because I put that top part up where it says Potsy and Tino Show. At the same time, the one thing I don't like, and I might need to remove a little bit, is the lower level of everything because it looks like our names actually get like cut off a little bit.
It does, yeah. It is cut off.
I mean, I'm new at this. It is what it is, right?
They know who we are. How come my like all the handles aren't going across the bottom?
What do you mean?
I guess it's the Potsy and Tino Show. Subscribe to this show. It's got the YouTube. It's got the Twitch. It doesn't have like any of my handles.
Those are the ones that we're actually live on right now.
Oh, okay. So
those are the shows that people can subscribe to and are live on right now.
All right. But I was like looking, I'm like, where's my shit? But okay.
Yeah, I again, man, like you know, I'm trying to do like our entire crew that does this is me. So so I'm trying. I'm trying to give us as cool a shit as possible, and at the same time, not look like idiots. And some of it doesn't quite come up the same way. But as you can see, we've got our ticker at the bottom, we've got our logo at the top, and we've got both of us on camera.
Hey.
So I think I nailed it today, right?
Yeah. I like it. It looks awesome. It does. It looks awesome.
So
I'm very pleased.
Michael Turner is in the crowd already. Michael, thank you so much for visiting me on both of my signings this week. It meant the world. I can't stress enough how much it means when somebody is willing to drive, 30 plus minutes to come visit you at a comic book signing. But on top of that, Michael also won. So Tino, my first signing for Zor, um,
Last
and
Wednesday, right?
yes, and I'm sorry. This is part of the what's up with you. Um, Michael came out to the signing for Zor on Wednesday and blew me away because he bought one of every copy I had, right? And and Michael, I can't stress enough how much that means to me. Like that really like hits every spot that it needs to. But then I was doing a signing at another Ultimate Comics on Saturday, and Michael won the giveaway from the first Ultimate Comics signing on Wednesday. So
Wait.
he, based on tickets and everything else, he won one of the metal covers, the holofoil covers. So he came out to the signing on Saturday. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And he brought it out, and he actually bought like a frame,
Oh,
comic book frame for it. So he came out and he's like, "I wasn't even going to come out here, but I was down the road, and I thought it's probably a good idea to bring it out here and get it signed." So I got it, I signed it, and everything else, and so Michael, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means. And obviously, as a comic book and wrestling fan, you know how much you mean to the show itself. So and like he said, yep, no problem. But no, seriously, you really remind me of why I do this. So Tino, before I really get into any of that, obviously we're on the what's up with you. So what's up with you?
oh no! Are you done with what's up with you?
I got more, but I would rather hear what's going on with you.
I had a lot going on. So last week, okay, all
You
right.
had a lot going on?
Well, not a lot. It's a okay. Well, just listen to it. Okay, so
Absolutely.
that
That's what we're
so
here for.
Saturday went to Hickory, right? So that was my job. That was my day to go to Hickory. And I remember about a week ago. Remember I told you I'd put the Jeep, and the Jeep was acting up, right?
Yes.
So and they put the throttle body and the new radiator and the spark plugs. So I'm driving to Hickory. I'm about 30 minutes away. I'm in Siler City, and my temperature gauge light comes on. And I look down, and the temperature gauge itself is going towards the hot. I'm like, the fuck? So luckily, I was close. It went on. I was about, how about 5 minutes from 5, 10 minutes from, Siler City, where I can get into like a gas station. So I pulled into like a truck stop, and I opened up the hood, and it hadn't started overheating yet. But I opened up the hood. So the reservoir where the coolant is was fucking bone dry. And I was pissed. So I went inside um, to the truck stop, got some coolant, and I put it in there, but I didn't know you're supposed to wait for the car to cool off before you add coolant. Didn't know that. So I added the coolant. I'm like, all right, I'll just add this coolant and I got to get going. And about
Okay.
another, not even 5 minutes down the road, it came back on again. I was like, son of a bitch. So I pulled over and it was empty again. So thank God I have AAA. So I called AAA, and you get what, 100 miles free towed. So I got it towed back to the house, threw everything in the truck, and went to Hickory, knowing that Monday morning Somebody's getting a phone call.
My favorite. Somebody's getting a phone call.
Somebody's getting a phone call. So I had all weekend to kind of calm down and chill, calm down. Because if that had happened Sunday night and I woke up Monday, it'd have been worse for them.
So this reminds me of when my dad would sit there and get mad at us. He'd be like, "I'm not going to hit you while I'm angry."
Yep.
And but I'll tell you what, the craziest part was when my dad wasn't angry anymore. And all of a sudden you'd be like, "What the fuck just happened?" Because it could be like 4 days later.
You forgot about it.
It's like, oh, Dad forgot. We don't have to. God damn! What the fuck just hit me?
Yeah.
But I wish that wasn't the case. But my dad really used to. And
What's up, Justin? Justin Dar's an audience.
Oh, Justin, what's going on, man? Hopefully, we'll see you this weekend.
Sunday.
But yeah, we're obviously headed to Sting's last match in Greensboro, North Carolina. Tino, like, what else has been going on with you?
So I called them this.
Before
I called
we
them
got
this
on
morning.
the air, I saw Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, keep talking to us.
Yeah. So Sunday. Oh, and so today I switched over from Google Fiber to AT&T Fiber because it saves my $15 a month, and I didn't realize when you have Google Fiber, you I guess share it, but AT&T Fiber is mine. You don't share it with nobody, and it saves me $15 a month.
Well, that's got to be a current thing, because I bet at some point they're going to be like, well, now that we got so many people signed up for it, everybody's going to.
No, it's normally $65 a month, but because I'm an AT&T customer, I have cell phone and all that stuff. They're gonna knock it to $60 a month, but I pay 75 for Google Fiber, so I'm like, eh.
Is it wrong that while you're talking about all this, I'm looking at the visual of the show and going, God damn, that looks good. Is it wrong that I feel that way?
No, that looks good.
Like
good.
I know I put the work in, but I mean, like,
it looks good.
Like, and I wanted it to make sure that we actually still had a good visual picture of us when I was doing it.
And so I did that today, and that's about it. I came back and I watched. I had a bunch of wrestling to watch, so I had to watch the PLE, and then I watched because I watched SmackDown Friday, but I came back Sunday. I watched it. Well, I finished watching the PLE today, and I watched Collision and Rampage.
And we'll obviously talk
yeah
in depth on the PLE, but
it was predictable. Everything that we said was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. There was really no surprise.
No surprises, and I like that, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like, well, obviously, like I said, we'll
talk about it.
We'll talk about that.
And gearing up to go get ready to see Sting's last match next weekend.
Yeah, so you and I are going to talk off air about what we're doing that night, because you might need to take the day off after.
Got meetings. We'll have to wait and see. I got meetings. I'm still employed.
Well, but that's why I'd have to ask to take the day off after. But so with what's up with me, obviously last Wednesday, Zor came out to much applause, to high praise, and on top of Zor coming out to high praise and much applause, it also came out, and I didn't even know what this this thing was, but the school library journal. So
Yeah, you sent that to me. What is that?
so it is a online like thing that sits there and sends out to all of the school libraries across the country to sit there and say, "Hey, this is a book that you should you should look at and you should pick up." Now, the downside to that is that school libraries obviously only pick up like the full collected trade paperbacks and like actual books, you know what I mean? But the fact that they actually sat there and said, "This is our number 2 pick of the week," was pretty fucking cool
That's awesome.
because I didn't send it to them. I didn't ask them for any. Like they saw it and went, "This book is awesome."
I wonder how they picked that, how they saw that, or what even put that on their radar for schools. You know what I mean? That's kind of cool.
I
That's just right. That's random.
I don't know, and yes, it is, and so between you, me, and the audience out there watching the Potsy and Tino show right now, I sat there and I was like, "So what does this mean?" And he goes, "Well, because they don't actually order like single issue comic books, it probably doesn't mean a lot from the comic area. But what it does mean is that school libraries somehow found out about your book and they're actually interested in it, which means when we start talking to like I've always wanted one of my books looked at for like award ceremonies, right? And the biggest awards out there that I know of for comic books is called the Ringo Awards.
You know what now?
Ringo Awards, and they're named after Mike Wieringo, who passed away about 15 or maybe even 20 years ago at this point. But he was a buddy of mine, and he was based out of Greensboro, North Carolina, and actually had drawn Artie on the back of Peter Parker's T-shirt. And I've probably posted the image multiple times. Pardon me, sorry. But when it comes to this, like I joked with Keen Spot's publisher Chris Crosby. I was like, so what does this mean that we're being looked at by the school library journal? And he goes, well, it probably doesn't mean too much, but keep it in mind for when anything else comes up. And I'm like, what do you mean when anything else comes up? And he goes, well, I don't know. And I said, so you mean like when I sit there and I say we should push this for a Ringo Award? And he goes, yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but yes, that's what I'm talking about. So my point to you and to everybody else is this. The more people that read this book that sit there and say this really captured them, really made them feel like it was something different and something amazing. And for everybody that has read Zor #1, I feel like that is what they feel. And Tino, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. And you know that at this point, you've told me I'm wrong quite a few times on this show. But if somebody told me that I was wrong there, then that's one thing. But otherwise, this book feels like something special, feels like something different, feels like something that could be up for the comic book awards that come out based on the different levels of it. So like for a uh all ages award, this feels like it could be out there for that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
At the same time, I did a signing at the Raleigh location for Ultimate Comics, and they almost sold out of like every copy they had of the book, and they had a lot of copies of the book. So the fact that they almost sold out, like, it was weird because I flat out told them, "Hey, listen, I'm here to sell your copies, right?" So I put all their copies out on display, didn't display a single copy of my books at all. None. And then all of a sudden, like, they were sold out of this cover, this cover, and this cover. So I was like, well, let me go run out to my car. Let me go get those covers just in case people want them. And all of a sudden, like, they're still selling their copies, their copies, their copies. But all of a sudden, I'm selling my copies, my copies, my copies. So, like, it became like, wow, okay, this is a really successful signing. And we were all like, okay, that's impressive. And this week was something called Comics Pro, where all the comic book shops in the country fly to a specific area and hear about all the new shit coming out, right? Well, Sienna from Ultimate Carry actually was like, "Hey, listen, Grace and I, the like me, the chief operating officer of Ultimate, and Grace, the manager of this store, are flying out of town, but we'd love to have you in the store to do signing." And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go there, and like, it's just gonna be like the assistant managers that are gonna help me out. The assistant manager, I know him. His name's Cole. He's awesome. He actually is an aspiring comic book artist. So I mean, like, really cool. And he sets me up. He puts me at a table and everything, and I have a blast. Like, they told me, "Hey, we have this many copies," and they basically put them out on a table. And by the time I was gone, like, probably half to 2/3 of those copies were gone, you know? And I was like, hopefully this means that they're gonna want to have me back the next time that I have a book come out. Because I mean, like, it felt good just being there and everything else. And but like, it was what was crazy to me that day is that the copy that everybody seemed to want to buy without me ever saying, "Hey, I drew that one," was my cover.
Which one was that one?
The one with the hand coming up.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. Like, and I would wait until they said, "I want this one," before I would sit there and go, "Hey, that's the one I drew." And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm glad I picked this one out then." So you're signing it and blah blah blah, and whatever. But
That's cool.
and then this weekend on Saturday, I am gonna be in Fayetteville.
That's this Saturday.
The March 2nd. That sound
Yeah,
right?
that's this Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Fayetteville signing the Dragon's Lair exclusive version. And once again, I will be selling their copy before offering anybody any other copies of the book. But I'm blown away by the response, man. Like, I knew the book was good. You read it, but like, the amount of people that are like, I need to buy this. I mean, hell, the day that the book came out, I went online and there were people posting fan art on the sketch cover.
Mm.
And I was like, oh shit. I don't remember the last time I put out a comic book and people were posting artwork of their art of our character on the sketch cover. You know, because obviously I'm doing sketch covers and whatever, but like to see some guy in Oregon sit there and do it, I was like,
That's awesome. That is
pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah. So anyway, the craziest part about all that is that, you know, obviously I was there from 12 to like 4 on Saturday. But I got up super early that day because I got a text message from our buddy Shavar, and he said, "Hey brother, I know this is stupid, but are you up?" And it was at 5 o'clock in the morning because Tino, what happened at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday?
Was that fool up trying to watch the PLE?
He wasn't just full up trying to watch the PLE. He was up trying to watch the PLE. And thank you, Mr. Helios, for saying, woo! But yes, Shavar was up. He was watching it. I woke up at 7:30 and I said, no, I was not up at 5 o'clock. But I immediately walked down the stairs and actually watched the rest of the PLE. So I watched it live. You know what the first thing I saw was? I immediately saw Bobby Lashley get eliminated from the Elimination Chamber. That
Is that
was
the
the
first thing you
first
saw?
thing I saw. Yeah. So with that, let's if you don't mind me saying, I think it's probably pretty important that we just jump right into that.
Okay.
Tino, the pre-show was obviously Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus the Kabuki Warriors. And while we didn't get a surprise victory or anything, did you watch this match?
I did watch this match because I wanted to see. I was just curious to see. I didn't figure they were gonna lose it quite yet because I think they're gonna still have the three of them have the titles. They probably won't lose it until EO loses to Bailey at Mania. But I
Fair.
did watch the match because I was wondering if there was going to be any kind of interference, and there wasn't, which I didn't expect because Bailey wasn't really in that match. So I was so yeah, but it was still a good match. I thought maybe then when I realized, ooh, Indy is from Australia, and I'm like, no, they're not going to do that because they're going to let Rhea keep hers. So they're not gonna.
I thought that they so to your point there, I thought that it was something where they almost forgot that she was from Australia.
No, they mentioned it when she's walking down.
Put her on the card, and that's where they said, "Oh, the pre-show. This is what we're gonna do." Makes sense.
Yeah, because as she came down, they're like, "And Australia's own Indy Hartwell." So I'm like, okay.
And she was over.
And so was Grayson Waller. While he gets booed in the States, he was over, and you knew he would be.
Well, he kept doing the shoeies, man. Kept doing the shoeies.
Yeah, and I knew when he grabbed the flag, I'm like, oh, here we go with that. And then he had to do the Ozzy, oi. I'm like, dude, Rhea does that. Why are you trying? Here he comes. I understand it's an Australian thing, but Rhea's been doing it.
I liked that someone tried to say that it was more like Rhea, oi, oi, oi. After her win, because like it just felt right to sit there and just call it Rhea, oi, oi, oi.
And seeing Rhea's family sit there, I forgot that Rhea's a natural blonde because I was looking at her mom and her sisters. I'm like, oh yeah, she was blonde when she came into NXT.
Yeah, but this is the first time she really got to play babyface.
And I noticed, I think you get
and we're
whatever.
jumping all
You
over the
get
place. I do want to
no, we'll go back in order, but I want to say this, yeah. You do get sprinklings, sometimes of it when she's in the States. She kind of, and I think she catches herself because every once in a while she'll kind of look at the fan, she'll give you that wink, every once in a while. And I think this because she's going to be faced soon. So I think they're starting to slowly, they're going to try to phase her in, but they had to let her do that face in Australia because they knew, like I said before, that's why they couldn't have put her against a Becky or a top face like that. So they knew
They
that she was going to
had
be faced.
against a massive heel.
And
And
Nia fit that bill.
perfect. Like I can't even think of another female over the last 20 years that you could have said we could put her up against her and this is a better move. That was the
What about Shayna? I think Shayna would have been a close second.
no.
No?
Not with where they were today. And by the way, like I would love to talk about Shayna Baszler and what their plan is going forward because I'm not going to do it right now.
Hmm.
Like we have time at the end, we can talk about it.
Okay.
But you and me, we obviously got to talk about the Quantum Leap season finale that happened. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was like two. I was expecting it to be one long episode. I didn't realize it was the two separate episodes.
Two-parter that
Yeah,
they did on the
same night.
Yeah. But let's dissect the PLE real quick.
Okay. All right.
Obviously the first match was the women's tag team championships, and they did like I said, they found a way to get Indy Hartwell on the show. She didn't win, but let's be real, Indy was a star during that, and it was probably one of her best matches she's ever done. Like straight up, one of the best matches that Indy has had.
I think it's that crowd was behind you. When you're in front of your crowd, you're in front of you want to put forth that, and it's not. I'm not saying Indy calls it in, but I think it's something about that rush when you're in front of your home country. You know what I mean? That gives you that extra. I want to put my best foot forward.
100%. I don't think this was what one of those like I'm gonna phone it in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I was more worried that her performance was going to be oh my god, there's so many people watching me that want me to do well, like I might screw up. That's what I was worried about, and we did not get that. Like and I think under the Triple H regime, I think we have more preparation between matches. Although, interestingly enough, the next match was the women's elimination
Chamber
match. And if you've seen recent statements about it, Raquel Rodriguez had a flare up of a medical condition.
Yeah, did I send you that when she just came back? And I noticed she wasn't wearing makeup, and I think that's because of that, because it affects her face and other body parts too. So it must have been acting up.
But even going further than that, when they actually practiced that match, she was not part of the practice.
Didn't know
So
that.
they were worried she wasn't going to participate at all in the elimination chamber. And when she did, and she was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm going to," and she did.
And I knew about those flare ups, and I think there's a point in that match where she got slapped in the face pretty hard. I'm like, oh, that's where her flare, and that's all I could think was those flare ups. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god, I know that had to hurt because she has pictures on Instagram that were showing it where it looked like it was some pain and she was crying
She
because it
looked like
hurt
a
so
completely
much.
different person.
And for somebody to smack you in the face and you've already had, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh.
Well, so the only thing I say to that is I don't know if her MCAS flare up really means whether or not it like burns when you hit or what. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like because there are some things where like you just get like flared up and you're like, okay, it was you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. But based on what you're saying and based on what we saw, I do kind of think that was one of those moments where it was like, oh shit, she's sucking it up and she's just going out there and being like, I'm not gonna stop trying to do what I'm supposed to do here. And I love that. I
She took that suplex. She took bumps. I think my favorite part of the match is where they got her down. I think she had like 3 people on her and she kicked out and the fans started yelling bullshit.
what I will say is that when it came to the women's match, uh I thought it was really surprising that Liv Morgan was the secondary last one at the Royal Rumble for the second year in a row,
hmm
and then was the last one to get eliminated.
Real
Uh,
quick, real quick.
Good.
Who's the MVP of that match? Who stood out to you in that match?
You really want me to say?
I know who I think, and I think we might think this. Yep, yep,
Who
yep.
is it, Tino?
Tippy time.
It's goddamn Tiffy time, and you are right. But not just because. Okay, so did you watch the press thing that they did?
I
The
don't
day
know.
for it. Okay,
Mm-mm.
when when
She didn't she get
when
in Bianca's face?
when Tiffany Stratton came out, that crowd exploded. And then when Becky came out, and Becky like was like, I'm so tired of hearing about Tiffy time. That crowd booed Becky. Okay? I'm not kidding. It fucking booed her.
I don't blame her because when her music hit and she came out in the PLE, that place it
That
erupted.
exploded.
I mean, it
It
wasn't Rhea Ripley. It wasn't a Rhea Ripley pop, but it was a would it be a Roy Roy or Stone Cold pop or just not? You don't think it's that much of a pop?
I'm gonna put it this way. We don't know exactly what kind of pop it would be, and here's why. Because it was
Outside, yeah.
it was an open arena, and every time they do open arenas, they don't catch the pop correctly. But I'm gonna tell you right
But
now.
it was to be an open arena. It was still loud. So I imagine if it was closed off, it'd have blew the roof off.
Oh, she is going. So after WrestleMania, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, Michael Turner says she's going to get a big push, and I agree. They're going to strap a rocket to her.
Michael Turner and I talked about this already because he came out to the signing. He's the one that won the
Hologram.
the holographic cover. But my point to this is that like she was so over at the press conference that when she actually got the first elimination in that match, everybody was like, fuck yeah, Tiffy's winning.
So how long does she turn face? Because I think that's going to be contagious. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to be booing her for long. She might still try to do heelish things, but I don't. For some reason, she came over to the main roster, and I don't know what changed. She was starting to get cheered before she left NXT. So
So,
I don't know if they're going to be able to keep her heel.
so do you want my joke first?
What?
All right. So in Australia, toilets flush opposite, right?
All right, I get you. All right.
So if I had to guess, based on the fact that it was Australia and they're cheering Grayson Waller and they're cheering Tiffy time, she has some more time that she can be heel. But let's be real.
But like I said, they were cheering her before she left NXT and
But
here in the States.
Hold on. But what I'm saying is that the rocket ship is going to be strapped
Oh, yes.
her butthole like so far. And it's because
She's the next Charlotte.
so interestingly enough, a conversation I had with someone this weekend said that she's the next Trish.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh.
Ooh.
And CJ's probably not watching the show, but CJ said she's the next Trish. And I was like, I could see her being the next this person or this person and he was like, no. She's got the talent. And the only difference between her and Trish is that Trish was brand new when they were the only women wrestling. And Tiffy is doing everything that Trish is doing, but she's doing it at a rate that is sending her up the roster.
So do you think now we know that Mandy left early because of everything she had on. Do you think she has surpassed Mandy?
I said she was the next Mandy Rose.
No. I'm saying, I'm asking the question though. Now, do you think she's surpassed Mandy? You know what I'm saying? If Mandy was still here, what do you think that she would be in comparison to Mandy Rose? You know what I mean?
It's hard to say only because Mandy Rose, the popularity that she would have gotten based on where she was, if she had turned babyface, she would have been gold, bro. So it's really hard to say.
That's something. So,
and by the way,
is she at Mandy Rose level now when Mandy left, or you think she's past Mandy? I guess is my question.
I don't think she's still at Mandy Rose's level yet.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking. Okay.
And that's a really good question. But I'm talking about work rate.
I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But when you're
Mandy came out
like over.
Yeah, so
she's more over than Mandy Rose right now. Like she's already surpassed the over level. It like we're gonna continue to have to see her put on the match level to get her to where Mandy, because you and I talked about this a lot. Mandy went from being on Monday Night Raw nothing to being amazing on NXT. And when I say amazing, I mean like the best women, the best woman wrestler on NXT ever. And this includes the Asuka era. This includes the four horsewomen. Like Mandy Rose was the best female performer on NXT at any portion of time.
Even Charlotte, because Charlotte has the athleticism. Charlotte, because she's got it, it's genetics.
Charlotte became more when she went to the main roster.
Well, they all did.
You're 100% right.
Which leads me to worry about. We talk about this. So yeah, she's so over. Look at LA Knight, red hot. They didn't do. They kept dropping the ball. I'm worried that they're not going to strike at the right time, just like they did with LA Knight, just like they did with Sammy. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they get these people hot and they get them over on the main roster, and then they're like, we want to stick to the same people. You know.
So I think it's really easy to say right now that if they don't pull a trigger on Tiffany Stratton before Money in the Bank, she will win Money in the Bank.
You think?
Yes.
But will
If
that
they
transfer to
don't
her
pull
winning
the
the belt?
trigger before that, she will win Money in the Bank.
And then will she cash in to get a championship? I mean, you can win Money in the Bank, and will she successfully cash in? So you can cash in and not win.
So as of right now, I think the women's cash in rate is 100%.
I think you're right. I said so. So she could be the first.
Well, but I wouldn't do that with her. If she's not gonna win, then I would have her win the title, and then have whoever wins Money in the Bank lose to her, to make it even more important that Tiffany Stratton actually was the women's champion at the time that the very first non-winner lost. Does that make sense?
So if you said at the press conference, you said it was Becky that came out and was talking smack about Tiffany, right?
Yep.
So here's what I think then that's going to set it up. Then if Becky wins WrestleMania, probably somewhere down the road she's going to meet Tiffy for that belt.
So the WWE championships, the only three that really seem to, well, I guess there's four now, that seem to matter to Triple H more than anything else, and I say really matter, are the Intercontinental title, Rhea Ripley's title, because she's now had it for almost a year, the Seth Rollins title. Did I say Gunther?
Mm-mm.
Gunther's title, and obviously Roman Reigns' title. And Triple H, and we've talked about this, man. Like, I feel like he is scared to pull the trigger on those
But why? I don't understand why.
because there's money, and the money has been good. So you don't fuck with the money. And that's always been the case with pro wrestling. You never fuck with the money, right?
Yeah, but if you never try anything else, you don't know if that other person can make money. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's why I think we're finally going to get one of those to change, and that's going to be Cody Rhodes winning the world title. Now, granted, I don't necessarily think that Cody Rhodes is going to be the long-term champion in WWE. I think he's going to win the belt. He's going to hold it up. He's going to come out on Monday night, and Damian Priest is going to beat the shit out of him.
I don't think it'll be that short.
I don't know if it'll be that short, but Damian Priest could beat the shit out of him to set up what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but anyways, let's we kind of got off topic. WWE PLE.
So we did the women. So
Becky
again,
wins the Elimination Chamber in a kind of expected match. Like Liv
expected.
Morgan was left to look like the most impressive non-winner because she was the last one left, and like I kind of think that at this point she's planning a heel turn, so it's her and Bianca at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Then we had the
tag match, wasn't it?
Yeah, the tag match between Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and what are they calling them now? The
catch something.
Yes, the catch heroes or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Pete
Here's
Tyler.
Here's one thing I wanted to say and it goes back to it being an open arena. Now we talked about how
Sure,
because it was so open, you couldn't hear the tippy pop, but same thing when Dom grabbed that mic, you couldn't hear Dom. Now if all the sound was going out of there, it was that loud. They were still, drowning his mic out.
I think that is going back to the whole like, hey, we're gonna do that post, so that way, like on your 7-second delay, we're making it so you can't hear Dom. Because they've been doing that for a while.
So I didn't see it live. So was it? Could you hear him live?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that like it still sounded like the 7-second delay probably pushed the boos louder. But honestly, I mean, like Dom was booed regardless.
Oh yeah, but I was just saying that the volume of the views you couldn't hear. So yeah.
Yeah. It was super loud. It was crazy.
I like that they let Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne look strong, even though you knew they weren't going to win. They still had a strong showing.
I think it's positioning them to be strong after WrestleMania. Because I think we're getting to the point where we might see the separation of the 2 tag team belts.
Good.
At the same time, yes, that the match was solid. Like everybody put on the whole show. Everybody put on a good match, but that match was solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because like we all look at when Pete Dunne sits there and grabs people's hands and goes like this, and we're like, oh shit, oh fuck, and so the entire match becomes a plus 0.5 just because of that kind of moment, right?
Because I was looking at the end of the match and Balor was messing with his thumb, so I couldn't tell, and it was bleeding, so I couldn't tell if it was broken, if what was going on with it.
That was not anything, but they totally played up like that. His thumb was 100%.
Okay, so I was going to ask you about that. I didn't know if that was a shoot or if that was work, because he was kind
of. We might see based on Monday Night Raw this week that they claim differently, but based on everything coming out of the show, they said that there were no serious injuries in that match. And blood and everything was just more, ended up like it was real blood, but it ended up becoming more for show.
Got it. So next we have the men's chamber. Now, before the men's chamber, did you get the thing I sent from you YouTube where R-Truth went to Austria instead of Australia?
So good.
R-Truth, like I said, he is still gold, dude. He is still gold.
He's platinum. Are you kidding? Like if Paul Heyman is not the number 1 guy going into the Hall of Fame this year,
it's got to be
R-Truth. And I'm not even playing at this point.
No.
Like R-Truth is, I mean, he's older than everybody else on the roster. And yet
he's over 50 now.
He's 52. He's better in the ring than almost all of those people. And he draws the crowd to get what he wants better than anybody else. And let us remember that before this Rock came back, that the last time the Rock came back, and he said, "Hey, I wanna go ahead and work a match at Survivor Series."
R-Truth.
It was against Awesome Truth, and it was him and John Cena. And people don't realize that.
He's that good, man.
He is literally one of the greatest performers in WWE history to never hold the WWE Championship. And you cannot argue with me about that.
Nope.
I mean, he's a 50-something time 24/7 champion. All right, now when you can argue with me. But
He's got, yeah.
Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax.
Wait a minute, go back to that men's
The
elimination.
men's chamber.
I wanted when Randy Orton.
Well, hold on. Did it surprise you that Bobby Lashley was the first eliminated?
Yes, actually.
It didn't surprise me only because Bobby Lashley was the only one that really didn't have a storyline in any of that.
What do you mean? Well,
I was more surprised that it wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't have anybody. Yeah,
group actually preventing him from going further in that match. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But him getting, like, he looked like he had a black eye by the end of the match. And so, interestingly enough, I just want to go ahead and tell everybody, I was asleep. I got a message from Shavar that said, "Hey, bro, I hate to ask this, but are you awake?" Because he was watching it and I was asleep, and I woke up at 7:30 and I was like, "No, but I'm walking downstairs right now and I'm going to start it up." And the immediate thing that I saw was Bobby Lashley being pinned, and it said, "We're down to 5." And I was like, holy shit, Bobby Lashley was the first guy eliminated. I saw the pictures of Logan Paul using the marker to sit there and write "KO sucks" and drawing up. Brother, I gotta tell you, so good. It's so fucking amazing that he would do that. And then on top of that, the video packages that I've seen where it's like the person sitting there saying, "Oh, don't worry, my dog's okay," and then you see the Logan Paul video of him walking up to KO and KO being like, which, by the way, reminds me of every time you came over to my house and Artie was here.
Racist ass dog. We've probably told this story. We've probably told this story on the show before, but it's still one of my favorite things because that dog was so racist. He was stupid and racist.
Stupid.
He was stupid.
Dumbest
and racist.
Dog ever.
He would bark. He would bark at me when I come in the house and growl, and then I'd sit on the couch to watch. And he would somehow end up on the couch next to me and kind of leaned on me, and I'd be petting him. I would pet and watch the end, and he's like, "What?" And he'd look up and realize I was petting him, like. Dumbass dog.
He would do it all the time. He would.
It got to the point where I would just fuck with him. I just wait for him. I just pet him and look at him and wait for him to look up and see me.
You know, Shavar had the same problem with him. Like, it obviously was he was racist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Artie was racist. My favorite thing was you would sit down on that couch and Artie would come up and he just like lean up against you and and you'd be petting him and everything be cool, and the dog would be like, you see his tail wagging, you know, like the little stump wagging, and then you tap him a couple times and he'd look up at you and be like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And then all of a sudden, like you'd be like, "What the fuck?" but the dog would like jump off the couch and he'd be like on the floor and he'd be staring at you. And then like 10 minutes later, he'd do the same shit again.
Mm-hmm.
Come right back up. And he like lean up against you. You start petting him. Then you say something. And he turns and looks at you.
I forgot the black guy was here.
Where did he come from?
Where the fuck did he come from?
I didn't tell you. You know, obviously, I created this new graphic for the show and everything, but I was trying to create a new T-shirt.
And Ari barking at me.
No. It said it was your emoji, and it said where the fuck did Joe come from?
Yes. But you have to put the F asterisk
except this weekend it was where did AJ come from? Which I thought was funny because where did that line start was when AJ and Joe were actually in their thing, and it was like where did Joe come from?
Because it'd be out of nowhere, and I think I just started saying it. It was like, where the fuck did Joe? Because he wasn't anywhere, and he would just, and he's like over 300 pounds, so it's not like he's sneaking up on anybody.
He's not sneaking up.
He would just pop up. You're like, where the fuck did he come?
But yeah. So I started working because I looked at our old shirt and I was like, oh, nobody wants a Bullet Club shirt anymore. You know, like we're gonna have to come up with some new shirts. So
yeah.
So I kind of started coming up with like some ideas, and one of them was where the fuck did Joe come from?
And we could have one that says, "What's up with you?"
Well, I think what's up with you, or yeah, what's up with you is a good one. Whatever.
You should have your emoji with the mad face and had one said Rob's rant that we used to. That'd be cool to bring those back.
Well, I gotta put hair on their head though, because the emojis all were bald, and that's what I noticed. So I no for me we're all bald for me.
Oh, well, mine need to stay bald.
But anyway, let's jumping back to Healy.
So I fell asleep. I didn't see where Randy supposedly got hurt. So what was it? An RKO that hurt his back? I didn't see it. I fell asleep.
I think Randy was selling.
And I woke up when he got hit in the mouth with the breast nuts. I was like, what the hell?
I think Randy was selling. I don't necessarily know if it's actually a serious injury or not, although they are talking about it being an injury that people are telling him he should retire. But I kind of think that that's wrestling, right?
Okay.
Because this is literally 4 days after he said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not, you know what I mean? So,
okay.
I do think that his selling in the match was fucking amazing. Like anybody that wants to see a master class on how to sell in a professional wrestling like major match, I think they need to watch that because him sitting there trying to hold on to his back while he's also sitting there trying to give a RKO to Drew was just insane. And I wanted to bring this up, but I don't know if we'll have time. But I watched the first episode of the A&E biography WWE Legends, and it was Randy Orton, and they specifically like talked to him about his back injury that he had, and Matt Riddle's a huge part of the episode, and it was kind of impressive because like when he first meets him, he's like, and that's when I was like, oh, Randy, you know, like, and it's the whole like Randy, oh, you know, like, but Randy sits there through that entire episode, and he's like, it's a 2 hour thing, and he talks about when he got kicked out of the military. He talks about when he had the painkiller like addiction.
Mm.
He talks about like at WrestleMania when he's supposed to be facing the Undertaker, and the Undertaker's like that motherfucker missed like the practice round for this, like all of that, and it goddamn dude, like I watched the whole thing and I was like, how can you not like this guy after this? Because surprisingly, and you know, he's been married twice now.
Yeah.
I thought he was married once, and it was the first wedding that actually got him like to straighten out. But apparently
Mm-mm.
second wedding that got him to straighten out. And the woman's from my hometown of Poughkeepsie, New York.
Really?
Yeah. Kim Orton is from Poughkeepsie, New York. And they even and she even talks about it. She's like, if I ever get the like during like the episode, she sits there and she's like, if I ever get the opportunity to sit there and just talk to that man, I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm gonna kiss him.
I've seen that. I've seen
And
that story.
he,
Yeah.
and he's just gonna marry me after that. And fuck, that's what happened. Like, like he couldn't take his eyes off of her at a show at the Mid Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York, which is where I grew up, mind you. Uh, my first wrestling match, by the way, was Scott Hall losing the money bag to the 1-2-3 Kid at the Mid Hudson Civic Center
Oh
in
wow.
Poughkeepsie, New York. Yes, 100%. That literally happened. And I was there.
Was it on
Uh,
Raw? Or was it a
it was
house show?
Raw. It was a Monday Night Raw. Yeah. Um, my cousin had come into town and he said, "Hey, I heard pro wrestling's in town this week. There's nothing else going on. You want to go to it?" Yeah, yeah. I'm like 12. Let's go. You know, like whatever. And that's what happened. But but the Randy Orton thing, dude. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm a very emotional person at this point in my life. I wasn't always. I normally used to keep my emotions like tied up because I was like, I'm not gonna let anybody see me like get teared up or nothing, and none of that. But I'm sitting there watching that Randy Orton thing, and when they show him get involved with his wife, his current wife Kim, I'm sitting there. I got tears coming down my eyes, and I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds stupid, but the fact is that like she changed him, and he and they then immediately go to Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, and multiple other people, and they're all like, if it wasn't for her, we don't know if Randy Orton would be with us today
Oh damn.
because he was headed on a really bad road, and she sat there and turned him around, and now he is one of the best people for this business, and he now is that guy that sits there and pushes like, I'm the trainer and you're the trainee and I'm teaching you how to do everything. And it blew my mind to hear that about Randy Orton because you and I talk about Randy Orton as a character, having that he was a pretty boy, he was this, he was this, he was this, until Mick Foley sat there and had that backlash with him. And in that moment, we were like, oh,
I think it's Mick Foley's job to change guys from pretty boys to tough guys because he did the same thing for Edge.
Well, he did say it was the loogie seen around the world that changed everybody's perception, because when he spit on him, it wasn't just spit. There was like a whole like, and he's like, and I'm the guy that took that, and then I got kicked down the stairs. But
Rob, I when I would have seen the script that day, I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. Because if I'd have seen the script and there's like, yeah, they want somebody to stand there and spit in my face, I'm like, no, because it's gonna be a shoot fight.
And you know what? Interestingly, Randy Orton did that to Mick Foley, but Randy Orton had it happen to him when Christian did it to him.
Again, there'd been a shoot fight in that.
And I you know, like we're starting to spend a lot of time on this.
Yeah. I know we still got the big match, but yeah, I was just wondering about his injury, but yeah.
Let's move on.
So Scottish Warrior won that, and then finally, let's get into this Rhea match because they let obviously Nia come out first, like they normally do, and then they let what? Stop! I need to watch the show now. Orton was always a D-bag to me. That was Southpaw style. So obviously they let Nia come out first. When Rhea's music hit, like you said, that being an open venue changed everything.
It blew up, man.
It blew up, and
like
to
the
see
only person that had gotten that kind of reaction before that was Tiffany Stratton. And hold on, right before we actually talk about this, I do want to say that did you notice that when during the men's elimination chamber match they kept showing Logan Paul? Did you hear the crowd reaction?
They booed the shit out of him.
Well, yes, but it was like he was just like up against the thing, and they would show him, and they'd be like, "Boo!" Then all of a sudden they show like Kevin Owens like over in the corner and be like, eh. And then all of a sudden like they would show, and they kept doing that, and it was like 6 times. You just gotta. It was literally just like he's starting to get up. Boo! You know what I mean? Like it was crazy.
And another thing I wanted to point out too, we thought it was going to be LA Knight and Logan Paul coming out of that. And it looks like it's going to be Orton and Logan Paul.
I'm wondering whether or not it's going to be a 3-way dance, because I'm thinking it's going to be KO, Orton, and
Logan Paul. So again, LA Knight gets shit on.
Well, but LA Knight's going to get AJ Styles. Now, interestingly, the one thing that I actually said about this is, what if they decided to do like a ladder match and it's all 5 of them?
I think it's that time for LA. They've teased him. I think it's time and hold a belt. If they don't get a world belt, why they keep teasing that it was going to be him and Logan for Logan's belt, and now it's Orton.
I'm glad you're asking this because my first opinion to you is you're 100% right. At the same time, they cooled him off, unfortunately, and the AJ Styles thing does not work for me. It does not. So it legitimately makes me think, Tino, that they were originally going, hey, we want LA Knight versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. And Randy Orton came in and said, hey, I'd like to work with that Logan Paul kid.
So he pulled a Rock. He pulled, I've been here a while, mod, senior, whatever card. Fuck the new guy. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? I'm already established. Almost out, on my way out. But yeah,
while I think that that's part of it, I think that there is a possibility that it gets to be, pardon me, that it gets to be a massive match instead, and like a 5-way dance, because AJ versus LA Knight versus Logan Paul versus KO versus Randy Orton actually has a much better thing to it than saying Randy Orton versus Logan Paul. Am I right?
Okay. Who comes out in that match though?
That's where I actually have LA win, because you don't have to have Randy take the pin. You don't have to have KO take the pin. You don't even have to have Logan Paul take the pin, because AJ Styles is in that match. And, well, under Triple H, AJ Styles always takes the pin.
All right.
Which, by the way, I hate.
Yeah.
Because I think AJ Styles needs one more good run in one of the spots. But that's where I look at that.
All right, back to the women's match. So she gets this massive pop coming down. You can tell the emotion. You can tell she's trying not to cry. I think she's got so much, and then she's coming down.
She's not used to being the baby face, so yeah.
And I think that is the same thing with Indy. She was so excited to be in front of her hometown or home country. She had her parents there. She almost looked blown up by the time she got in the ring. I think because of the adrenaline and everything. She was already breathing hard when she got to the ring before the match even started. So I think it was nerves, adrenaline, everything was going. So, and then so we had this match. We have an awesome seeing Mommy do the Eddie Guerrero and come off with a frog splash was interesting. What did you think of that?
That wasn't what I was interested in. I kind of felt, because it was the end of the pay-per-view, right? The ELE, if you will. That the entire match, to me, kind of felt like it was playing in double time.
I think it was paced well, though. You thought it was too fast?
No, it wasn't too fast. I just felt like it ended quickly. Like, it was like 15 minutes, don't get me wrong. But it, like, and by the way, this is not a negative. I thought the match was perfectly planned, perfectly paced, and it happened the way that it should. There are three things that I can talk about that I thought were like not perfect. But I was shocked at how fast the match seemed to go through, when all the other matches seemed to take forever.
Well, you got to think though, the Elimination Chamber matches are going to take forever because you've got the match. You got to get them coming in at different time. So that's why those things.
Well, they talked about how, like, Bobby Lashley lasted 20 minutes out of a 40-minute match and blah, blah, blah. But my point is this, is that, like, so here are the things that I didn't like about the match. How about that? The very beginning of the match, Rhea sat there and sent Nia into the ropes, and it looked sloppy. And I was like, oh, God, we're going to get one of these sloppy Nia Jax matches. You know what I mean? Like, and it was, she sent her into the ropes, and it almost looked like Nia got hurt when she went into the ropes and into the corner and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, God, not one of those. The second moment that I didn't like was the table spot outside the ring at about the 15-minute mark, which is close to the end of the match. It looked like Nia wasn't protecting her opponent.
Wait, when she jumped off the chair?
Yes.
On the ring.
By the way, I would have I don't know who told her that going off the chair was a smart idea, but you go off the railing, not the chair. Like,
I think that was a way for her protecting him, because Nia, isn't a small person. Coming off the railing and coming off that chair, she was lower, and I think she hit the ground more than she hit Rhea when she fell. And I think she did that to protect Rhea, honestly. So I think the
Well,
chair was a better idea.
I agree with you, except for the fact that like a chair can move.
And it did. It started to swerve when she
And it
jumped
started to. And I was like, when she was standing on that chair, I was like, why is she not on that railing?
because she probably knows she's got a habit of
Flat
she's
and
got a habit she's got a habit of hurting. She's got a habit of hurting people. So I think it was safer for her to come off that chair than that railing.
I don't know. It's a good question. And it's a good point. Maybe I was shocked by it. The next spot in the match that I was shocked by was when she hit that earthquake bomb that she does, and it went 1, 2, and she didn't move.
The Annihilator.
The Annihilator. So Rhea had to sit there and do something, and the referee just said she got her shoulder up, because I don't think she got her shoulder up there. But what I saw at the end of the match was when Rhea finally hit her with her finisher,
Riptide.
with the Riptide, and it got to 1, 2. She shoved her face into the ground, and I think that's because Nia did not allow for Rhea to get up on the pin. I thought that was her way of saying, "Bitch, I'm still mommy." And
I didn't see that part where she.
You agree with me, but I've watched it like 3 or 4 times now.
I need to go back and watch it.
And the whole like her trying to get her shoulders up was like just like this, and that referee had to be like, "Let me get a finger in there." Like there was no real spot under, nothing. So when Rhea won that match, I'm sure she shoved that face down and was like, "Bitch,
Okay.
I'm still on top."
I have to go back and watch it.
I was a little surprised, and you know what? Because it was in Australia, I guess that's why they didn't do it. But normally, this would be the moment where you would have Becky come down and actually stare her down. And I think that the reason why they didn't was because it was in her home country.
They wanted to let her have her spot because they did something. What was it? I guess like the after the exclusive where Becky's like outside watching the fireworks and she's saying enjoy. She's like enjoy it now. I'll see you. She said because it's going to be mommy against the man at WrestleMania. So she kind of did have her thing.
Okay with that. I guess I'm okay with that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so the PLE was really well done. But do you want to hear what I have to say about it?
All right, yeah, let's do this real quick. What you got?
I was very disappointed by it.
Oh shit, why?
Because as well performed as it was, nothing surprised me about the outcomes.
Yeah.
The biggest surprises I had were Liv Morgan was the last person in the women's elimination chamber, which means she is now the last 2 years the last woman in the Royal Rumble, and this year now the last woman in the Royal Rumble and the last woman in the elimination chamber, and still nothing. And like Drew McIntyre, like the like I get why he's the prime candidate to get that spot, but you took Randy Orton from Monday Night Raw, moved him over to SmackDown, and didn't move anybody from SmackDown over to Raw. So I have a problem with that. I feel like it's very disappointing when you see that Drew McIntyre, who is a Raw superstar, is going to go up against the Raw champion, but a Raw superstar is going up against the SmackDown champion, and if he wins the title, he becomes a SmackDown competitor. I have a problem with that. I kind of felt like it was the perfect time to sit there and say, let's move Randy Orton back over to Raw.
Yeah.
So that's where I was with that.
The only surprise I had was how over Tiffany was. That shocked me.
Dude, when I saw the press event that is on Peacock, I was like, holy shit. Like, she's not just over. Like, I don't know what, like, did she sit there and give everybody like $5 to sit there and cheer for her? I don't know. Like, she had the biggest pop out of anybody. Not just the people on the card, not the people, not like anybody. Like, Cody Rhodes could come out, and if Tiffany Stratton came out right behind him, Tiffany Stratton's getting the biggest pop of the night. It was fucking incredible. And it just goes to what we've already said. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So
let's run this Sunday's card before we get out of here.
Yes.
And who we think is going to win and lose. I think the card is pretty much set. I'm going to read the card as it is right now.
Well, you're gonna give your opinions too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to start. Maybe from the bottom.
Down at the bottom.
The way they have it listed. So apparently there's a match it's a 3-way match to call in Meat Madness. And it's Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Lance Archer. I didn't hear about this one.
Wardlow.
Yeah, because he came out and did that impassioned speech on last week's show. So
also because he's part of the Adam Cole group.
So what about we got Will Ospreay and Takeshita?
It's probably Will Ospreay's entrance to AEW, so I would say that him, yeah.
BCC against FTR. That's Moxley and Claudio against Dax and Cash.
Now, here's what's interesting about this. I heard it's actually supposed to be a classic wrestling match. So I would go with FTR.
Especially being in Greensboro, especially with them. Yeah. Yeah. Then you got Danielson and Kingston for the Continental Crown. And if Danielson loses, he has to shake Kingston's hand.
I got to go with Kingston because Danielson having to shake his hand is going to be the visual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
International Championship, Cassidy and Roderick. I think Cassidy's finally going to drop this.
This is the first time that I want to disagree with you, but I think once so far everything we've talked about with this pay-per-view kind of sounds like the same thing WWE did with Elimination Chamber, where we're both in agreement on everything. I would say Orange Cassidy retains only because not everything can be exactly what you expect.
Okay. Christian Cage and Daniel Garcia.
I think Garcia wins this with the help of Edge.
Agreed. Women's Championship, Storm and Deanna.
Well, first of all, I think that they're going to add another women's match to the show. I think Julia Hart is going to have a match on the card.
It'll probably be if I'm betting money, because next Wednesday or next week on what is it, Collision, what's her name? What's the ex-champion? Chris Statlander has already challenged Sky
Julia.
Blue. So no, she's challenged Sky Blue. So I think if Julia Hart has a match, it's going to be Willow.
Okay. But we still have 3 shows on AEW television before the pay-per-view. So we
Right
have
now, right now this card's pretty stacked. So
it's like 6 matches, 7 matches.
ooh,
But there is still
1, 2, 3, 4.
There's Dynamite, there's Collision, and there's Rampage before we get to it. So there is still time to add another women's match, maybe even on the pre-show. I
All
don't.
right, well, let's talk about the matches that are on the card. So
Sure.
so the Tony Storm and Deanna.
What did you say? Yeah.
I want to see. I'm gonna go with Deanna.
No, I'm sticking
You
with
gonna stick with Tony? I knew you would. That's why I'm gonna go with Deanna. I think there might be an upset of surprise.
When I saw you do the, I was like, he doesn't want to go against Tony Storm.
I don't, but I don't because I think Tony's gonna win. But they
I
might
don't
pull swerve and have Deanna win it.
in AEW to warrant her winning the belt.
Okay. All right, here we go. Sting's retirement match, the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tornado match. Sting and Darby against the Young Bucks.
Young Cucks.
Matthew and Nicholas.
The Cucks.
Anyway, who wins?
I'll let you go first.
I really think Sting and Darby are going to win. Michael and Southpaw Style agree with me.
I Southpaw Style, I believe is Rob Paw, but not sure. My problem with that is that I believe Sting feels like you go out on your shield. Although the one big difference is that Tony Khan made Sting sit there and make this for the tag team titles.
And then you got to figure out what Ric Flair is because I don't think we talked about that in last week's, what was it, Wednesday? He went into the Young Bucks office.
But did you hear the background on all that? Was because like Sting couldn't be there because randomly, unfortunately, his father passed away, and because of that, he wasn't gonna be there, and that's why they had Ric Flair show up and go talk to the Young Bucks instead.
But they still had and obviously it was a pre-tape, but they still had Darby and Sting cut a promo.
Oh, they had a promo, but the promo obviously wasn't them live in front of the crowd.
Yeah, it's pre-tape. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Ric Flair was there in the crowd, and while he didn't actually show his face to the crowd, he went to their locker room.
No, he did an interview with somebody before he went to the locker room saying, "No, I thought I was supposed to be with Sting the whole way here, and he feels left out. I still feel like I need to be a part of that show." And that's when he went to the Young Bucks dressing room. And so it makes me think he's going to turn on Sting.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way.
So you say Sting loses. I'm saying Sting wins. So that's where we are on that. AEW 3-way. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Adam Page. You already know where I'm going with it. Who do you got?
I'm sticking with Samoa Joe only because I believe that Adam Page actually has a broken ankle right now.
I'm going with Swerve.
I would love for Swerve. I don't think this is the pay-per-view to do it.
Okay. So you're going with Joe. I'm going with Swerve. Southpaw Joe. Southpaw Style agrees with you.
This Joe. Yeah.
All right. That's that card.
Tino, before we hop off of here, we don't have it on any of our things, so I'm just going to put it back to what's up with you. But I do want to talk about honestly the season and possibly series finale.
Now I'm hoping they come with a season 3. They kind of wrapped it up. I was reading. They kind of wrapped it up. Kinda. If it didn't come back, that's why they had it in like that.
But who early on in the season called how they were able to?
That wasn't early on in the season. That was like a couple of weeks ago when she was like, you did say that you think that she's going to be the one to figure out how to get home, but that wasn't early in this. That was like a couple episodes back where she came back again.
Now, what did you think when they had that dude that is like always the weird guy in shows be the one that was like, oh, I'm totally taking over the quantum leap thing?
I couldn't figure. I mean, I was like, okay, he's an asshole. He did the chip, but the way who he turned out to be, I was like,
Yeah.
no.
So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how?
Well, no, because people might not have watched it yet. And I'm not like you. I don't like giving spoilers.
Well, hold on. So how about this? I got done watching Quantum Leap, and I sat there and said, you know something, that, hey, if you watch Quantum Leap, when you do, let me know. And I didn't spoil anything this time.
No, you didn't.
I did not spoil anything.
Not this time. No, what I'm saying is I don't want to say what happens now here in case somebody else hadn't watched it.
Oh, they had a week.
Well, I'll let you do it, so you'll get the cuss out and the hate mail.
But I'm not going to cuss any. I'm not going to sit there and actually get that. I just want to sit there and say that, like, hey, I said this is something that I expected to happen. You finally, like, when you messaged me, you were like, holy fuck. I believe are the 2 words that you actually sent me.
Because that was a swerve, it was a twist. I was like, wow.
So, all right, I can't. I'll ask you off air my final question about Quantum Leap. But with us going to Greensboro this weekend and everything, obviously there's one more Dynamite, there's one more Collision, there's one more Rampage. I expect 1, maybe 2 more matches added to the show because they go 7 p.m. until midnight on those, because they give you the hour-long pre-show and then whatever.
We're gonna get that building early too, because you realize there's gonna be a shitload of people trying to get in the Greensboro Coliseum. There's gonna be traffic coming out of our assholes.
Well, I'm gonna talk to you off air about the plan, because you might need to take Monday off.
I got meetings. I can't afford to take Monday off. I have to wait and see what's going on with these meetings, but we'll talk about it.
Then you might need to drive. But no, I'm kidding.
I'll drive you.
I said
45
I'm
minutes.
kidding, but maybe. But yeah. All right. I don't have much else, and I have a new ending to the show so that we don't actually have to say everything, except that we want to make sure we give Adam's House Cat their props for being our theme song.
9-9.
Yeah, that's not part of what I put together, but
9-9.
yeah, no. Michael Turner says, "Good show, guys."
Appreciate it.
So, Tino, you got anything else?
I'm good, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been fun. This was a good show. I enjoyed the PLE this past weekend. I'm looking forward to the one we're going to this weekend, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty of stories and pictures and stupid stuff to tell you guys when we see you again.
Well, hopefully everybody likes our new graphics.
I do, so I think that's all really matters.
I worked. But with that said, make sure you give a like to the show, subscribe to the show, do all that fun stuff, and like I said, Adam's House Cat, thank you so much for the music. Oh, you got it that time. Look at you. Look. So if you just do one, you only get the thumbs up. But if you do two, it's so awesome.
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you everybody. Hope everybody liked the new graphics and everything else. And with that, we are going to call it an evening. And that puts us right at 10 minutes over, Tino. Sorry.
Close
Put
enough.
it here.